Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session number 37 of our Mandelbulb3D Epic Rendering tutorial series. So we're in here and we're making some adjustments to our fused, our merged 16 tile Mandelbulb rendering. We just took a look at the levels. I'm using GIMP. Let's go up to colors and let's go to curves. Let's get that in there. Now, because I had adjusted my levels, I'm in really good shape here on the curves. Now, the curve, this is exposure. This is exposure. Levels is adjusting the exposure as well, but kind of taking a different approach to it. I use levels to determine where the range between the shadows and the highlights. I think of it as the range. The curves I use to kind of adjust the linear change between the shadows and the highlights. All right, so if we just kind of look at this a little bit, let's take this curve right here. I don't need to adjust any of the edges here because I did that with the levels. Okay, I don't need to adjust these. Let me do this. So if you see here, I'll just exaggerate this. What I'm doing is I'm modifying the curve, the change between the shadows and the highlights, between the darks and the lights. And I'm trying to find a point at which I get really good image detail and lighting all the way across the board, from shadows all the way to the lights. I don't really have to do much work on this. I mean, that right here, if I put my curve right in the middle there, that still looks good. But I think I will go a little brighter. Something like that. Now, really early on, I was saying that what you do here in all of this preparation, all the way from picking your Mandelbulb object, your scene, all the way through all the merging and everything and all this quality stuff, has everything to do with the goal or the destination for your image. Now, in this case, we've decided that we want a big print. Here's what's going to happen. That print is going to come back darker than what you see on this screen. Understand that. Understand that your print is going to be darker than what you see on this screen. There's a couple reasons for that. The most basic reason is that you go from electronic to physical ink print, you're going to lose some brightness. That's just the nature of the beast. But more importantly is that we have the advantage here of a display device that is illuminating these pixels on the screen, these transistors that are, red, green, and blue. All right, and then they crank up the brightness, and what you see on your screen here is very bright. And by the time you send this off to the printer and they change this over into little physical ink dots, you're going to lose brightness. So you want to have a brighter. You got to be careful that you don't have a bright image that is so bright that it's too bright in your return print. You don't want it too dark where your return print is even darker. So you just have to kind of think this through. Just because it looks good on your screen does not mean it's going to look good in your print. And it's almost an art to get it just right here on on your PC, that it shows up in your print, in when they ship it to you, and it looks perfect. You just have to kind of eye it in, try to do the best you can, hope for the best, uh, try to get it as close to what the print will do as you can. If I'm using this, if run online and other people are displaying this on their LCD devices, well, I don't have a whole lot of work to do. But if I'm going to a print, I have to keep in mind that I'm changing the media, I should say medium, from an electronic display that can be as bright as you want out to a physical ink on a medium, paper, metal, whatever the case may be. All right, so enough on that. Just bear in mind that what you see on your screen is not necessarily what you're going to get on the print in terms of exposure. So you want to be careful to not over brighten, but not under brighten. If I sent this out to the printer, well, they're just going to make it a little worse. With that said, depending upon the print lab, you may have somebody that sits there and takes your electronic image and says, that's not going to, he's not going to like that. He's going to return that one. And they come in there with their own software and they do that. All right, trying to make it look as good as they think they can, so that you don't get upset when you open up your parcel and find that you've got too dark of a print. So the point is that they may actually try to adjust it for you to give you a good returned product. So look, don't send them something like that they're going to want to try to fix, and don't send them something like that they're going to want to try to fix. Send them something that's close to what you want. And I am going to leave it right here. Okay. So let's close that out. And I think that looks pretty good. I think it's bright enough. I've retained the shadowing down in here. The shadows are beautiful. The distant objects right here, there's just some shadow in there. I still see detail. This is fantastic. I like this. All right. These are a little bit off in the distance right in here. Off in the distance. Okay, but I still see detail. I'm liking what I see here. I like this. Good. Let's do a save here. Save as. I'm going to put it in the same folder. Okay, fused. I'm not going to call it fused alien. I'm going to call it. GIMP processed. Okay, I'm going to call it V1 just in case I change anything. Okay. So here we go. So this is good. Okay. We'll save that. All right. That's the. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Oh, that's the XCF. That's the GIMP file format. All right. That I don't send that to the printer. I'm just saving my project, the GIMP project, as we go. Okay. Okay. Boy, that looks good. That looks really good. All right, the next thing to do then is to resize it. All right, we'll do that in the next session. I'll see you there.